What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Paulazay Talks, and today we're going to be talking about intuition and ego, or should I say intuition versus ego. I don't know, this was just something that just really hit me today, right? And it seemed so profound. I was watching a video earlier, and the person was talking about, your intuition versus your ego and how to decipher between the two, and that just made me think, like, wow. Well, you know what? Before that, we're gonna get right into it. But first, cue the intro. Alright, now we're back. So, yeah, talking about intuition versus ego. Intuition versus ego, right? And the curious and the insightful thing that brought it to my attention was like deciphering between the two, because how do you know when you're listening to your intuition versus how do you know when you're listening to your ego, right? And the number one thing that came up for me was like, well, if you're questioning about which one you're listening to, then it should be obvious of which you should be listening to, right? Or it's obvious that the one that you're not questioning, right, is what you should be listening to. I don't know, it's still fresh, so I'm still kind of trying to decipher this whole thing, because if you think about it, right, in most situations, right, I can name on a few that I was in the moment deciding what decision to make. And when I should have acted, I didn't, right? And when I should have said something, I didn't. And that made me think about, was that intuition or was that ego? And in some cases I realized, like, okay, maybe I should have said something in that situation, and maybe the outcome would have been a little different. But just thinking about it now, it makes me wonder, like, how have we been conditioned to listen to ourselves, right? Have we been so conditioned to listen to our egos that when our intuition is telling us something, we can't decide between the two? Because in most cases, our intuition can be telling us exactly what to do, and something else will tell us something different, and we go with that something else in some cases, right? So I feel like that's just a constant battle, right? It's a constant battle between the two. And one of the ways I would say to overcome and to be more intuitive, be more in unison with your intuition, I would say do more self-love and do more meditating, right? Do more self-love practices and meditate more. Meditate often if you can, and I feel like that just brings you closer to your intuitive knowing. Because most times the ego will tell us to do something, and I feel like the ego, I was looking up a little bit before I started the video, but one thing it kind of said, and I'm just kind of paraphrasing, is that the ego thrives in confusion, where the intuition is just an intuitive knowing. The intuition doesn't have a sense of good or bad, I would say, but it just knows what needs to be done in the exact moment it needs to be done, right? I coined a phrase that I got from a movie I was watching on Netflix, and I think I talked about this in a previous video too. And the girl was basically saying, she was asked, there was two girls having a conversation, right? And one girl asked the other, it's like, she was getting ready to call somebody, and she was like, what are you gonna say? And she was like, I don't know. She said, I don't know. I'll say what I need to say. And that just made me think, is that how our intuition works? Like, you'll do what you do when you need to do it. Sometimes I feel like our ego presses us to do the things that we don't need to do in the moments that we need rest, or we need to just sit back and relax, right? Last weekend, I didn't do anything. I wasn't moved to do anything. I wasn't unmotivated or sad or nothing like that, but I just wasn't compelled to do anything. I just sat. I mean, I did a little something. I did a little bit, you know. But for the most part, I relaxed. I had spent time with my family, my girl, I played some games. I played a few video games. And for the most part, I was just relaxing. And I don't know, the feeling came up that the feeling of I should be doing something came up, right? Like, oh man, I need to be doing something. I need to be doing this and doing that, and I need to be taking notes. I need to be watching this, and something else hit me. Is just like, just relax. Let it come to you when the time is right. And you know what's funny? In those moments are really defining. Those moments are really defining because they essentially show you the habits that you have been building over years. Because now, like with things like this, with me doing my YouTube and on TikTok and things of that nature, those things now come second nature to me because I've been doing it for so long that I don't even think about it sometimes. I just like, beforehand, I would need a whole list of things in order to even make a video because I was so nervous and I didn't want to mess up, right? And I wanted to make sure that I got my point across, and I wanted to make sure that I was able to help somebody thoroughly. And then something happened and I just said, you know what, just record. And that was intuition talking to me at the time. Ego was telling me, oh yeah, okay. Ego was telling me, yo, you gotta write this out, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, otherwise the video won't be right. Intuition was telling me, just record. Just record. Just record. That's it. Just hit record button. It's alright, you got this. You've been doing this for a good amount of time. You got this, right? And that's where, oh man, I'm just getting hit with so much now, so much knowledge. It's crazy because I feel like the intuition is so simple, yet kind of vague in a sense because of the simplicity. Sometimes we may not understand the message, right? And our ego is so complex, so complicated. And you need the two, honestly, because the ego is like a critical thinker in a sense. Because the ego is always trying to map out everything from point A to point B to make sure everything goes perfectly. And then here comes intuition like, let's get from here to here first. And we'll figure the rest out later. And then the rest just kind of figures itself out, right? That's crazy. A good example of this would be Manifest. Now, I'm just starting watching it. For those who know, you know. Spoiler alert. Not really. Maybe a little bit. But in one part, right? When they come back or whatever, basically she just kept getting this like this voice in her head that was saying, set them free. Set them free. It was no direction. It was just like, set them free. She was in the vicinity of where that voice hit her, right? It's just like, set them free. And I was like, what are you talking about? So she set the dogs free, but it was like, that probably wasn't it. She don't know why she did it. She just did it. But then the voice got louder and stronger, and next thing you know, she ended up finding these two missing people. And she just followed her intuition, right? And I'm still new to it. I don't really know what it is exactly, but to me, that is what following your intuition looks like. When you are given an assignment, and you just, and the only thing that you need to do is just carry out that assignment once it's given. You don't need to go out here and map it out and try to figure out all the tools and essentials that you need. You just need to execute, right? Ooh, the intuition gives you assignments, and the ego tries to map out that assignment because the ego, in a sense, is like overthinking. And when you try to overthink these things, yo, they never go as planned. Ever. I can't think of a time where a plan went well and I overthought it. I can't think of a time where I overthought a plan and it went well. And now I'm just gaining clarity now. And this is why I love doing these videos, because in the beginning, they're choppy, right? When I first started, it was a little choppy. I ain't gonna lie. But that was intuition guiding me in order to relay the message that needed to be relayed. Because it's like, when you're going through this life that we're going through and we're bombarded with so much, you have to cut through the clutter. And when you're cutting through the clutter, it may not be the best. It may not look the best. It may not sound the best. But there's a message in there. There's a message in there. It's for you to decipher. It's for you to relate to other people. And that is intuition talking to you. Now, when you try to relay that message and you give up halfway into that message, then that's the ego taking control. Because it's like, man, nah, forget it, I'll just do it later, or you don't understand, or just making an excuse to not relay the message. Again, it's okay. It's a part of who we are. We all have ego, we all have intuition. Some are more in tune with it than others, right? But we all have it. We all have these types of psychic abilities, right? And you have to learn how to tap into that ability. Everybody's is different, right? Everybody's is different. Not everybody is keen on the intuitive knowing part. Some people may be different. Some people are just like intuitive in different aspects of, whether it's seeing, right, or hearing, or smelling, or tasting, or touching. Those are intuitive knowings, right? But man, intuition versus ego. How do you, for you, I want to know, how do you decipher between what's ego and what's intuition? Let me know in the comment section below. But I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's all I have for you. This is really good. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be on this journey with you. Thank you for being on this journey with me. We do better when we grow together, so let's continue to grow with one another. And you know, as always, if you got something out of this, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, click the notification bell to get notified whenever I publish another video. And leave in the comment section some nuggets you got from leave a comment in the comment section and let me know what you got from this, and let me know what else you'd like to hear. Right, your feedback is very much appreciated, and your support is very much appreciated too. So with that, I'm gonna close it out. May you be creators and creative. May you be loved and loved. May we be present. May we be free, and may we be abundant at all times. Ashe. Peace.